What has India's largest lender, State Bank of India, made of the RBI policy? Let me go across to my colleague Lata Venkatesh, who's with the management of State Bank of India. Lata.
Okay, thanks for that. And Mr. Khara, thank you very much for joining us. Well, first up, obviously, rate hike for lending. Do you think in the banking sector there will be another quarter percentage point rise in deposit rates?
I think much of it will depend upon the asset liability situation of various banks. It need not necessarily lead to quarter percent, but yes, of course, I expect that there will be some increase, and certainly those banks which are really clamoring for more and more deposit because of the kind of growth which they are seeing on the asset book, perhaps you will get to see an increase in deposit rates from such banks.
Okay. So more generally, how should an investor in State Bank understand that margins can still improve because of this rate hike, or do they plateau from here on?
No, I expect that there is a scope for improvement in margin, because invariably we have seen that repricing of deposit happens with some lag, while repricing of loans happen with a shorter lag. There is a lag there also, but it is a shorter lag. Okay. So I think I would say that it will certainly, with this policy rate increase, the margins, I expect that it should improve.
Okay. Now with the benchmark rate, repo rate becoming 6.5, there will be a concomitant rise. And do you expect the spreads of corporate lending over sovereign to increase? And do you expect any impact on the volume, on the demand?
No, I think, see, what will happen is that normally this depends upon the quality of loans also. So if at all quality of loan is good, then perhaps the rates would be lower. So the risk premium is something which gets adjusted. Of course, the base price is whatever it is on account of the yield curve, which will be now evolving post this policy rate increase. So I think based on for better quality interest, risk, the risk premium would be lower. So it is not that it will have a universal impact across the book and across the risk also.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you... Okay, got that. I don't know if you heard the governor. We had asked him questions about exposure to the Adani Group, and he did say, he reiterated the comfort he had in the previous press statement. You've also made your statement. But the question to the governor, which he didn't answer, which he obviously said belongs to the banking sector, if the international bonds are not rolled over, they will ask for refinancing to the Indian banking system. So will you be comfortable increasing your exposure?
See, as of now, it is only a conjecture. So we'll cross the bridge when we'll come to it. And all of us have seen that yesterday itself about 1.1 billion worth of loans have been liquidated by the group. So I think we should, I don't know whether the group will approach us or not. Even that is also anybody's guess. Okay. I think people are perceiving the eventualities which are not yet known. So I think more important is that, as I mentioned in the past also, whatever lending has been done by banks like us, one, this is a very, very small component of our total loan book. Second, this is all supported by physical assets, cash generating assets, and we have never seen any default in the past. And even for that matter, they have not availed full limits. So that's a very clear reflection about the group being liquid. So I think that's how I read the situation.
Fair point, sir. Just one more detail. In the results conference, you and your colleagues said the exposure is about 0.8-0.9% of your total book. If you can tell us a number, and more importantly, what are the non-funded exposures? There were some fears in the market that sometimes when global banks give loans, they often ask for a performance guarantee or some kind of guarantee from an Indian bank. Do you have any such guarantees?
I would say that I normally don't discuss about group in particular, but I will only give one broad statement that whatever you have in mind in terms of foreign bank having taken some guarantee from us, none, nothing, nothing like that.
None like that. Oh, actually that's a very big, reassurance for those who hold banking stocks and for those who own the Adani Group stocks as well. Thank you very much for that.
Non-fund-based,
now, a more general question on the... Yes.
Non-fund-based limits are only for...
Yes, sir, non-funded.
Non-fund-based limits are only for the purpose of their economic activity which they are pursuing and nothing other than that.
Okay. Fair point. Got that. Thank you very much. So that's a very, very major clarification. You do not know how many ruffled feathers you have smoothed by that assurance. Now, I just wanted your overall comment. I don't know how much time you had to either hear the governor or read the contents of the press conference. There have been some advice to banks or other directions that penal charges shouldn't be too high. There are also some more facilities given for insurance for MSMEs on the TREADS platform. And several such, insurance companies can do lending and borrowing of government securities on the CCIL. Those directions also will come. Any overall comment on the policy?
No, I think overall when it comes to the policy action, which is essentially in terms of the penal interest, etc., that I think is a very welcome suggestion because it will bring in order. And it will be all for the benefit of the system as well as for the borrowers, because they want that there should be some, there are going to be extant regulatory guidelines which are expected to be reviewed by RBI relating to the penal interest. It's a very welcome suggestion, and it will bring in some rule-based order across the entities in respect of penal charges. The other very important aspect is the regulatory initiatives on the climate risk and the sustainable finance. Because there is now some kind of framework for accepting the green deposit. And apart from that, the disclosure framework on the climate-related finance also is a very welcome suggestion. And the guidance on the climate scenario analysis and the stress testing, this also will go a long way in terms of Indian banks to build up this kind of a book. The other very important component I would like to mention is relating to the factoring entities are also permitted to participate as financiers on the TREADS. Because, TREAD is something which is going to go a long way in terms of addressing the receivable related challenges which the SMEs face. So I think this is a very big enabler, and it will actually will now permit secondary market operation will also now be enabled on the TREADS platform. So this is again a very welcome suggestion. So I think welcome initiative which has been taken. So I would say that overall there are many enablers which have been created through this policy. Actually they are very forward looking, and they will go a long way in terms of addressing the climate related green financing and the SME stress, and also overall stress in terms of the penal charges which our customers face. Now there will be a much better policy structure for that. So this will actually take away the arbitrariness on the penal charges, and also the security lending and borrowing in government securities is again a very welcome suggestion, because actually many of the entities were not actively participating into the traps. So now through this mechanism, even that can also be brought in, and it will perhaps generate more liquidity in the system also. So that's how I read the policy statements.
Fair point, sir. I think that's a great op-ed piece that you have spoken on the policy. It is a many splendored policy. Thank you very much for joining us, and I want to alert our viewers that we will be hearing the chairman as a part of many other equally eminent jurors who will be speaking to Shireen Ban later on in the day. The India Business Leader Awards jury meeting is today, and all of you will get to hear the opinions of the jurors on the Indian economy. We will go into a break on that note. Okay, I'm sorry, not into a break. It's over to you, Rima.
Thank you very much, Lata, for that. It was a great conversation, lots of insights. But need to get into a break. And as we do that, here is some exciting news. The most coveted leadership awards are back. CNBC TV18 honors the visionaries behind the outstanding businesses. Catch the most influential, credible, powerful IBLA jury this evening right here on CNBC TV18.
जब